This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted to be joined with the billionaire, Mr. Joe Fournier. May 13th, it all goes down. Wembley Arena, KSI. How are we feeling?
I feel good. I feel excited about it. It's a huge fight. I think it's the first time KSI is really going to be tested. So I think people will really want to tune in because, you know, people know I'm not coming down to lie down. I'm coming to put it on him. So I think this is going to be the end of Misfits. I'm going to be the new face of it. The bad guy billionaire, baby.
I was going to ask you, how does it sort of feel that you are embracing this sort of villain act? You know, KSI, he's the guy that builds up Misfits. How good would it be for you to be the guy that brings it all down?
I mean, it's very exciting for me I can't believe he took the opportunity, to be honest with you. Like, he kept bottling it for nearly a year. So the fact that he finally put pen to paper is, like, quite shocking to me. And, yeah, they had all these stipulations, you know, of weight and all that. I just said yes to everything because at the end of the day, I'm just going to walk in the ring and punch him in the face. And that's all it's going to come down to.
What's the negotiations been like? Because obviously someone like Dillon Danis was heavily critical about rehydration clauses and, you know, all sorts of negotiations, and people have had, you know, various criticisms of MAMS and KSI and with their sort of negotiations. What's it sort of been like for you, would you say?
I don't think they do anything wrong, to be honest. I would say Dillon Danis just didn't want to fight him. If you want to fight, who cares? It's like, only rehydrate 10 pounds. Well, guess what? You shouldn't be rehydrating that much more anyway. Like, why are you trying to cut 15 pounds? Go on a diet, you fat prick. Like, you're a professional athlete getting paid, like, you know, more than you ever got paid in MMA. Why would you just go on a diet? He just doesn't want to fight. He's lost it mentally. Everyone knows that. You'll never see him fight again. It's just, he just does it to, like, stay current and stay in the media. I don't have a problem with Dillon Danis. I hear he's a nice guy. I'm just telling you, like, if his name was Bob, I would say the same thing. It's not about personal between me and Dillon Danis. It's, you got 2-3 months to get into shape. You got 2-3 months to get in shape, man. I mean, I've lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks to fight for the WBA title. And I did it, and I fought and I won, and I knocked the guy out, and I was an underdog. So all these little things, I don't think they didn't do anything weird. They just, like, they're just professional about what their business is. And, you know, they run it as a company. They run it as a business. They don't overpay. They're smart about how they do things. But did I feel begrudged in any way about anything in the contract? No. I didn't even pay much attention to it. As soon as they sent it, I sent it back straight away.
What's your training been like for this? Because obviously, you know, it's been a couple of years since you last stepped in the ring. You know, you've been a pro for a long time. You know, 10 years as a pro, and this time it's a challenge for you that's slightly different from any other that you'll ever face in terms of the hype and everything about it. You know, I'm sure, you know, KSI will do things that you've seen before, but how do you prepare for this challenge? You know, with different pressure than it usually would come with.
I don't feel any pressure at all because I believe he's an inferior opponent to me. I feel he's going to definitely catch me because he's awkward and he's unorthodox. But I feel like my skills are going to be at a higher level than his. I think what he has is youth, explosiveness. We're a bit more explosive, you know, a bit more youthful. But I think that will get him unstuck because that means he's going to rush his work and he's going to run onto something. And everyone knows, even David said it, you know, I got heavyweight power as a light heavyweight. So those little gloves, they don't really leave much for the imagination. If you're, you know, off balance or you're running in, like he jumps in and jumps out. You saw his knockout against FaZe. You know, he tried to do that against me, man. You're going to get knocked out with a jab. And I think that's the thing. I don't feel really nervous at all about it, to be fair. But I think he's the best of the YouTube boxers. I'm not discrediting in any way. He's won every one of his fights. It's not easy to win fights, do you know what I mean? Even if you're fighting like shit people, you still got to get up there and beat them. You've had upsets before with like Olympic champions have lost their first fight.
Yeah, probably Fournier, isn't it? Come back and roll the title.
Exactly, yeah. Lomachenko.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. What would you say, you know, comes with this pressure and stuff, and what would you say about this whole influencer space where where you've been a pro, you've sort of came into it as an 11-0 pro for 10 years. What made you the decision? What was the choice for you to sort of step into this influencer world, would you say, and fight these sort of influencer guys?
Well, you know, the thing for me is that I see it as building the brand of boxing. right? That's what they're doing, these guys. They're taking boxing, which was essentially meant for purists and spit and sawdust like mentality of like tough nut fighters, you know, that kind of thing. And now that it's getting applied to people that maybe are in like middle class, maybe that are in the gaming industry, maybe they're in the media industry. Like it's opened it up. And isn't that what boxing's meant to be about? Is being a good influence on others. That's what I use boxing for, my mental health. I box because it's fun. I don't box for the money. And for me, what Misfits are doing and like what other promotions are doing in the same space, I think is really cool because there's a load of new fans. And isn't that good for boxing? Isn't it good? Aren't we meant to be inclusive as opposed to like, oh, no, mate, I'm a pro. I ain't fighting these guys. I'm too cool. If I'm too cool, then I'm rich. I'm not talking to a poor guy. Does that work? No, it don't. Right? So if you can't just pick and choose how you want to be inclusive. You're either inclusive as a person, which is me. I welcome everyone around me. I'm like humble. I go around. I'm going to Curry and Hounslow straight after this, where I was a dishwasher. Do you know what I mean? And so I think it's amazing what they're doing, and I think that they should continue to do it, and I think it should continue to grow. And the reason I accepted to fight on Misfits is because of that. Is he's not only put himself on there, he's put his mates on there. Think how many of KSI's mates are now fighting Misfits, getting paid 10, 20, 50, 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand, when they're never going to make that on YouTube. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I feel what you're saying. Like, where I feel like the only thing that I would always say is like people can see it disrespectful at times where you see stuff like tag team boxing and that. Do you know what I mean?
That's disrespectful. What was UFC? Why was UFC not disrespectful? Oh, you can kick a guy in the shin, but I ain't Thai boxing. Oh, but then you can like, you know, you can choke him out and wrestle him, and then you can cuddle him for 20 minutes. Now look at it. It's just a different way of doing sport. Like look at cricket 2020. 2020 cricket is disrespectful to test match cricket. So it ain't disrespectful. If people want to see it, why do they want to see it? Locking people in a house and putting a camera like Big Brother is disrespectful, right? Because you're making someone look like a rat. But boxing with tag team, so what? I'd love to see a tag team match with David Haye and Deontay Wilder as one team and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury as the other team, you know?
Who's winning that?
Of course, David Haye, Deontay Wilder, baby.
You know, moving on, what do you make of KSI as a fighter, as how he matches up against you, would you say? You know, you gave him sort of credit earlier, but what would you make him when he matches up against you?
I think he needs to be very careful with his game plan. I think if he rushes in too early, it's going to be a very short night at work for me, which is going to be fun because we get to go to the club earlier and have that after party that I'll be planning. I think if he's strategic and he fights a bit more amateurish, jumps in and out, I think he might have some success because at the end of the day, he is faster, he's more explosive. It's going to be an interesting fight because he's going to be punching from angles. Like, listen, I've been sparring real boxers for 10 years. I don't know, like, I would have been more comfortable fighting him 10 years ago. If that makes sense, because that's the kind of guys I was fighting. Now when he's coming in off different stances, jumping in, jumping out, listen, he's decent, but do I believe that he's going to be able to put a dent in me? Absolutely not. And will I ultimately calm him down with a couple of real big power shots and then finally put the cherry on the icing when he's going to be on the floor looking up at Wembley thinking, fuck, I just gave Joe Misfits for free. I should have taken the 10 million quid he offered me.
Do you feel like, in a way, you might be overlooked at times when you're talking about Jake Paul and that, and, you know, where he's not realising that you're in the way of him?
Yeah, I don't even know how that's a conversation. Like, what's Jake Paul got to do with anything? I'm fighting Jake Paul next. You're never going to get there.
What did you make of KSI's 3 opponents with FaZe Temper, Luis Pineda, and then Swarms? What have you made of them so far from his comeback?
I only watched FaZe. I mean, listen, it's just talking it's a different sport. I don't want to cuss any of them because they did their best. So I don't really know, like, what I will say is this, to knock someone out, it's not easy, right? Go now in the street, go up to a guy, punch him in the face. I bet you don't knock him out, right? So he did knock the guy out, fair and square, who are trained to go into a boxing ring and fight. So he is at a level where he can do that. He has the punch power, he has that. Was FaZe the most talented boxer I've ever seen in my life? No. But is KSI? No. So it's like he beat the guy that he put in front of him. If someone said to me tomorrow, go fight a guy who's 0-0, I go and fight him, I knock him out, I just get slagged off. Oh, he's 0-0, he was shit. If I go knock out KSI, they're going to say he was shit. Yeah. Right? And then when you see him knock out FaZe, he was shit. No, you just got to do the job in front of you.
Well, just to sort of finish this off, what are you expecting from KSI at this press conference, and up to any antics do you think he'll be?
I hope so. I'm in the mood for some antics. I flew in all the way from Miami for this, so yeah. I hope he makes it exciting and fresh, and I want to hate him because I really want to get like up for training hard and doing that. Right now, I'm kind of going from the pub to the club to the gym and back round in circles. Maybe a bit of beach in the middle of Miami. So I want him to really get under my skin. I really will flourish under that.
Well, Joe, I appreciate your time, mate, and all the best for May 13th. Thank you for speaking to me. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers.